Have you ever felt that quiet unease when you hear the name of an illness you have never heard before? One of my patients once shared that what worried her most was not the illness itself, but the feeling of not understanding what it meant for her life. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You are sitting in a comfortable chair, listening to someone explain a complicated topic slowly, with kindness, without urgency, and without fear. That is how I want this conversation to feel today. My name is Dr. Evelyn Carter, and for many years, I have had the privilege of caring for older adults and their families. I have learned that anxiety often comes from uncertainty. When we do not understand something, our minds tend to fill the gaps with worry. Nipah virus is one of those names that can sound alarming simply because it is unfamiliar. It is rare, but it is serious, and that is exactly why it deserves calm explanation rather than avoidance. In simple terms, Nipah virus is an infection that doctors watch carefully because, in past outbreaks, symptoms sometimes progressed quickly. Science shows us that certain viruses can affect the body and the brain, especially when the immune system is already working harder with age. Learning this does not mean danger is near. It means choosing clarity over confusion and giving yourself the gift of understanding. I know that many older adults worry not only about their own health, but also about their spouse, their children, and their independence. You want to stay steady, capable, and dignified. This video is not meant to alarm you. It is meant to support you. Knowledge, when shared gently, protects emotional safety and helps the body feel calmer and more secure. As we continue, I invite you to like this video if it feels helpful, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can stay connected. In the next part, we will talk more clearly about what Nipah virus is and why doctors pay attention to it, always at a pace that respects your peace of mind. Thank you for spending this time with me. You are not alone in learning, and you are always welcome here at Senior Health Daily. What Nipah virus is and how it was discovered. When people first hear the name Nipah virus, it often feels distant and unfamiliar, as if it belongs to another country or another generation. In my years caring for older adults, I have noticed that unfamiliar illnesses tend to cause more unease than familiar ones, even when the actual risk is low. Understanding begins when we slow down and gently place new information into context. Nipah virus was first identified in the late 1990s during an outbreak of serious illness. Doctors noticed that people were becoming sick quickly, with symptoms that affected both the body and the brain. What caught medical attention was not how often it appeared, but how severe it could become in some cases. This taught the medical community an important lesson. Rarity does not mean something can be ignored, especially when its impact may be significant. From a scientific perspective, Nipah virus belongs to a group of viruses that can affect the nervous system. This matters deeply for older adults because the brain plays such a central role in memory, balance, mood, and daily independence. As a physician who has spent decades supporting patients with cognitive changes and dementia, I pay close attention to anything that may influence brain health, even indirectly. I often remind my patients that we live in a connected world. Travel, caregiving, and close family contact link us across communities and generations. A virus does not need to be common to be worth understanding. It only needs the potential to cause harm when it appears. Learning about it ahead of time allows the mind to feel steadier if it ever becomes part of the conversation again. I remember a woman I cared for who told me she felt calmer once she understood a condition she had read about. She said knowledge helped her feel prepared rather than startled. That feeling of preparedness is not about expecting illness. It is about giving yourself emotional safety. Understanding how Nipah virus was discovered reminds us why doctors continue to study it today. Not because it is everywhere, but because when it does appear, calm awareness matters. For older adults, this awareness does not require changing daily life or living cautiously. It simply means storing information gently, like a reference you can return to if needed. That sense of quiet readiness supports healthy aging. It respects the body, honors experience, and allows life to continue with confidence and dignity. How Nipah virus spreads. When people ask me about any virus, the first question is almost always the same. How does it spread? Under that question, I often hear something deeper, especially from older adults. Am I safe in my daily routine? Can I still hug my family? Do I need to change how I live? Those are natural concerns, and the best way to calm them is with clear, simple information. Nipah virus does not spread casually in the way many people imagine. It is not the kind of virus that you are likely to pick up from a brief moment in a grocery store or a quick passing encounter. In past outbreaks, transmission most often happened through close contact, including direct exposure to bodily fluids from an infected person or animal. This matters because it helps us focus on realistic risk, not imagined risk. One misconception I hear is that all viruses behave the same way. They do not. Each virus has its own pattern, and Nipah virus tends to require closeness for spread. That is why healthcare settings and caregiving environments receive special attention when there is an outbreak. Not because caregiving is dangerous, but because caregiving is close. It involves helping someone eat, cleaning up after them, or being near them for long periods when they are unwell. In my years of caregiving work, I have seen how deeply older adults value connection. A spouse may sit close to the person they love because that is what marriage has looked like for decades. Adult children may come to help a parent, not just with tasks, but with comfort. Grandparents may want to hold a grandchild's hand. These are human moments, and they matter. Understanding how Nipah virus spreads is not meant to take those moments away. It is meant to protect them through wise awareness. Calm awareness means knowing that prevention focuses on basic, proven practices. Good hand hygiene. Following medical guidance during an outbreak. Taking extra care when someone is sick, especially if symptoms are unusual or worsening. It also means recognizing that when there is no active outbreak in your area, there is no reason to live on high alert. For older adults, another piece of calm awareness is understanding the role of caregivers. If you receive help at home or live in a community setting, it is comforting to know that healthcare workers are trained to reduce risk through protective routines. Those routines exist because closeness is part of care, and care deserves safety. When we place Nipah virus transmission in its proper context, the body can relax. The mind no longer has to guess. That steadiness supports sleep, memory, and daily peace. Awareness is not fear. It is simply the gentle knowledge that helps you continue living with confidence and dignity. Why doctors consider Nipah virus dangerous? When doctors describe a virus as dangerous, they are not trying to create fear. They are trying to communicate respect for how an illness behaves. In medicine, danger often has less to do with how common something is and more to do with how unpredictable it can be once it appears. That is how many physicians think about Nipah virus. One reason doctors pay close attention to Nipah virus is the way it can progress. In past cases, some people moved from feeling unwell to becoming seriously ill in a relatively short period of time. That speed matters. Illnesses that change quickly give the body less time to adjust and less time for doctors to intervene. This is very different from many familiar infections that follow a slower, more predictable course. Another reason is variability. Not everyone responds to Nipah virus in the same way. Some people experience milder symptoms, while others develop more serious complications, including effects on the brain. As someone who has spent many years caring for individuals with memory changes and neurological conditions, I am always attentive to illnesses that involve the nervous system. The brain is delicate, and when it is affected, recovery can take more patience and support. For older adults, unpredictability deserves calm respect. Aging bodies are experienced bodies. They have adapted to many challenges over the years. At the same time, the immune response may not always move as quickly as it once did. This does not mean the body is weak. It means timing and early care become more important. I often explain this to my patients in gentle terms. Some illnesses knock politely. Others arrive quickly and ask for immediate attention. Doctors study Nipah virus because when it appears, recognizing changes early can make a meaningful difference in care and outcome. What is important to understand is that danger does not mean inevitability. It means preparedness. Preparedness is not panic. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing what to watch for and when to seek guidance. When people understand why doctors are cautious, worry often eases rather than increases. I have seen many older adults feel steadier once they understand the reasoning behind medical concern. Their minds settle, their breathing slows, they feel less at the mercy of headlines and more connected to their own judgment. Doctors consider Nipah virus dangerous because of how it behaves, not because it is everywhere. Understanding that distinction helps replace fear with clarity, and clarity supports both emotional safety and physical well-being. Early symptoms and why they are often missed. One of the quiet challenges with Nipah virus is how easily its early symptoms can blend into everyday discomforts. In the beginning, a person may feel tired, develop a mild fever, or notice a headache that comes and goes. These sensations are familiar to most of us, especially as we grow older, and that familiarity is exactly why they can be overlooked. In my years of caring for seniors, I have seen a pattern repeat itself gently but consistently. Many older adults are very good at enduring discomfort. They do not want to worry their family. They do not want to take up space or feel like a burden, so they tell themselves it is just a poor night of sleep, a touch of the flu, or simply part of aging. That instinct often comes from love and independence, but it can sometimes delay attention when the body is quietly asking to be heard. Early symptoms of Nipah virus may also include muscle aches or a general feeling of being unwell. None of these signs announce themselves loudly. They do not demand immediate concern. That is why gentle attentiveness matters more than alarm. The goal is not to assume something serious is happening at every ache, but to notice when something feels different from your usual pattern. From a caregiving perspective, I often encourage families to pay attention to subtle changes. A loved one may seem more confused than usual, less steady on their feet, or unusually withdrawn. In older adults, even mild illness can sometimes affect thinking or balance. This does not mean something severe is present, but it does mean the body deserves a closer look. I remember a patient who hesitated to call her doctor because she did not want to bother anyone. When she finally did, the reassurance she received was as healing as the treatment itself. Being listened to allowed her body and mind to relax. That kind of care protects dignity and peace. What I hope seniors remember is this: noticing symptoms is not complaining. It is communicating. Your body has carried you through many seasons of life. Listening to it with patience and respect is one of the wisest habits of healthy aging. Early awareness builds confidence, supports independence, and allows care to arrive gently rather than urgently. How the immune system changes after 60. As we move beyond the age of 60, the immune system changes in quiet and natural ways. I often remind my patients that this is not a sign of decline. It is a sign of adaptation. The body has spent decades protecting you, learning from every illness and recovery along the way. With time, it becomes wiser, even if it sometimes responds a little more slowly. In simple terms, the immune system works like a communication network. It recognizes something unfamiliar, sends messages, and organizes a response. In younger years, those messages often travel quickly. As we age, they may take a bit more time to move through the system. This is why infections can feel more tiring, and why recovery may require extra rest and patience. With illnesses like Nipah virus, doctors pay attention to timing. When the immune response takes longer to fully engage, early care and supportive treatment can make a meaningful difference. This does not mean that older adults are helpless. It means the body benefits from being given the right conditions to do its work. Rest, hydration, proper nutrition, and emotional calm all support immune function in powerful ways. I have seen many older adults recover well from illness when they allow themselves that time and support. What often gets in the way is not the immune system itself, but the pressure people place on themselves to bounce back quickly. Thoughtful risk management after 60 is not about fear or restriction. It is about respecting the body's pace. Risk management can be as simple as listening when fatigue lingers, seeking medical advice sooner rather than later, and avoiding unnecessary strain when the body is already working hard. These choices protect energy and help prevent small issues from becoming larger ones. Stress plays a role as well. Chronic worry can quietly weaken immune response by keeping the body in a constant state of alert. Calm routines help counter this. Regular sleep, familiar daily rhythms, and moments of quiet allow the immune system to focus on healing rather than reacting to stress. Aging does not remove resilience, it reshapes it. When older adults understand how their immune system works, they often feel more confident and less anxious. They stop blaming themselves for slower recovery and start supporting their bodies with patience and care. That understanding transforms health from something to fight into something to work with, preserving dignity and strengthening well-being over time. Emotional safety and staying informed. One of the most important parts of health at this stage of life is emotional safety. Over the years, I have watched how the mind and body respond differently when information is delivered with calm versus urgency. When people feel rushed or frightened, the body tightens. Sleep suffers. Memory feels less steady. When learning happens in a quiet, trusted space, the body softens and understanding has room to settle. Many older adults tell me they feel overwhelmed by constant health news. Headlines change quickly, and unfamiliar terms can make it feel as though danger is always just around the corner. That kind of atmosphere does not protect health. It slowly erodes peace of mind. What truly helps is choosing where and how you learn. Reliable information shared gently supports both mental clarity and physical well-being. In my caregiving work, I have seen that people heal better when they feel emotionally supported. Understanding what is happening in the body reduces stress, and lower stress allows the immune system to function more effectively. This is especially important for seniors, whose bodies already work harder to maintain balance and recovery. Staying informed does not mean absorbing every update or worrying about every possibility. It means having a place you trust, a place that respects your pace and your dignity, a place where questions are answered thoughtfully and without pressure. That sense of steadiness helps you feel less reactive and more grounded in your own judgment. Before we continue, if this video is helping you understand your health, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It gives us the motivation to create more life-saving content for you. Senior Health Daily was created to be that steady place, a place where learning feels like a conversation rather than a warning. A place you can return to when questions arise, knowing you will be met with patience and care. When emotional safety is protected, the body benefits quietly but profoundly. Breathing slows. Thoughts feel clearer. Confidence returns. Staying informed within a calm and compassionate space allows health knowledge to become a source of reassurance rather than strain. That balance is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves as we age. Prevention without anxiety. When we talk about prevention, I want to begin by gently setting something aside. Prevention is not about living in constant alert or watching every sensation with worry. In all my years caring for older adults, I have learned that the most effective preventive habits are the ones that feel steady and natural, not exhausting or tense. Simple hygiene has always protected health long before we had complicated explanations. Washing hands, keeping living spaces clean, and being mindful when someone around you is unwell are practices many seniors already follow instinctively. These habits do not require fear to work. They work best when they are part of daily routine, just like preparing a meal or getting ready for bed. Balance matters deeply. Hypervigilance can quietly drain energy and increase stress, which in turn affects sleep, memory, and immune function. Constantly scanning the body for symptoms or worrying about every interaction can do more harm than good. The body heals and protects itself more effectively when the mind feels calm. Listening to public health guidance is another piece of balance prevention. Guidance is meant to help people make informed choices, not to create alarm. I often suggest choosing one or two trusted sources and letting go of the rest. Too much information can overwhelm the nervous system and make it harder to think clearly. Routine is one of the strongest forms of prevention available to us. Regular sleep, nourishing food, gentle movement, and time for rest give the body predictability. The immune system responds well to rhythm. When the body knows what to expect, it handles challenges with greater resilience. I have seen many older adults remain remarkably steady through uncertain times simply by keeping their routines intact. They focus on what they can control rather than what they cannot. That focus preserves dignity and supports independence. Prevention practiced with calm intention allows room for joy and connection. It does not isolate or restrict life. It protects it quietly. When hygiene, routine, and balance work together, they create a foundation that supports health without creating anxiety. That foundation allows seniors to feel prepared without feeling burdened and safe without feeling confined. A caregiving perspective for families. Caregiving often begins quietly. An adult child notices a small change, a missed appointment, a little more fatigue than usual. At first, it feels temporary, something that can be handled with a quick check-in or a gentle reminder. Over time, those moments of help can become more regular, and with them come questions about how to protect health without taking away independence. In my years of working with families, I have learned that caregiving works best when it is built on partnership. Older adults do not stop being the experts on their own lives. Even when memory changes or physical limitations appear, dignity remains. Including a parent in conversations about health supports trust and reduces anxiety on both sides. When topics like emerging illnesses come up, adult children often feel a strong urge to protect. That instinct comes from love, but it can sometimes turn into overcorrection. Watching too closely, restricting too much, or speaking for someone rather than with them can unintentionally create tension. Calm awareness paired with respect allows families to stay connected without creating fear. Caregiving environments involve closeness, and closeness deserves thoughtful care. Simple routines, clear communication, and shared understanding help everyone feel steadier. When families learn together, worry becomes shared responsibility rather than silent stress. I often see relief appear when caregivers realize they do not have to manage everything alone or anticipate every possibility. I remember a family who struggled with this balance. Their mother wanted to remain involved in decisions, while her children worried about missing something important. Once they began talking openly and learning together, the atmosphere shifted. She felt respected. They felt more confident. The home became calmer and care felt less heavy. Caregiving is not about eliminating all risk. It is about creating an environment where concerns can be noticed early and addressed gently. That requires patience and listening as much as action. It also requires caregivers to care for themselves, recognizing that exhaustion and anxiety can cloud judgment. When dignity leads the way, caregiving becomes an expression of partnership rather than control. Older adults feel valued. Caregivers feel less alone. Health conversations become easier and more honest. That balance supports emotional safety, preserves routine, and strengthens family bonds. In the end, caregiving is about walking alongside one another with respect. When families approach health with calm understanding and shared learning, they create a space where everyone can breathe a little easier and move forward together with confidence. Why? Emerging viruses feel scarier than familiar illnesses. There is something about an unfamiliar illness that can feel unsettling, in a way familiar conditions do not. I have often noticed that people who manage long-term health issues with confidence can feel suddenly anxious when they hear the name of a virus they have never encountered before. That reaction is human, and it deserves understanding rather than judgment. The mind finds comfort in recognition. When we know what something is, we also know how we have handled it in the past. An emerging virus does not come with that history. There are no personal memories of recovery, no routines already in place, and no sense of what to expect. The brain naturally fills that gap with uncertainty. Anxiety often follows, not because danger is present, but because clarity is missing. For older adults, this uncertainty can feel even heavier. Health becomes more personal with age. People think about memory, independence, and the ability to care for themselves and others. An unfamiliar illness can feel like a threat to stability, rather than simply a medical concern. That emotional response is not weakness. It is the mind trying to protect what matters most. In my caregiving work, I have learned that anxiety often softens once understanding begins. When people learn how an illness behaves, how it spreads, and who is most affected, the unknown becomes manageable. Understanding gives the mind something solid to hold on to. It replaces imagined scenarios with real information. Control does not come from eliminating risk. It comes from knowing how to respond calmly if a concern arises. That sense of preparedness allows the nervous system to relax. Breathing slows, sleep improves, thoughts feel clearer. These changes support both emotional and physical health. I often tell my patients that feeling anxious does not mean something bad is happening. It means the mind is asking for reassurance. Offering it through gentle education is one of the kindest responses we can give ourselves. Emerging viruses feel scarier because they are new, not because they are everywhere. Once we take the time to understand them, fear often gives way to awareness. Awareness allows life to continue without shrinking around worry. Understanding is a form of control that preserves dignity. It empowers older adults to stay engaged, informed, and confident. When knowledge replaces uncertainty, calm returns, and calm is one of the strongest foundations of healthy aging. What truly protects health? Long-term. After many years of caring for older adults, I have come to believe that long-term health is shaped less by single events and more by how we live each day. What protects us over time is not constant vigilance, but steady habits that support the body and the mind together. Routine, emotional calm, patience, and connection work quietly, yet powerfully, in the background of healthy aging. Routine gives the body a sense of safety. Waking at a similar time, eating nourishing meals, moving gently, and resting when needed create a rhythm the immune system understands. The body responds well to predictability. When days follow a familiar pattern, stress hormones settle, sleep improves, and energy becomes easier to manage. These changes may feel small, but over months and years, they add up. Emotional calm is just as important as physical care. I have watched patients heal more smoothly when they felt reassured and supported. Calm does not mean ignoring problems. It means approaching them without urgency. When the mind feels steady, the body can focus on repair rather than remaining in a state of alert. This is especially important for seniors whose systems already work hard to maintain balance. Patience is another quiet protector. Aging teaches patience whether we choose it or not. Recovery may take longer, strength may return gradually. Accepting this without self-judgment preserves dignity and prevents unnecessary strain. The body heals best when it is allowed to work at its own pace. Connection may be the most overlooked protector of all. Staying connected to family, friends, caregivers, and trusted sources of information supports both emotional and cognitive health. Conversation stimulates the mind. Shared meals and routines create comfort. Feeling understood reduces isolation, which can otherwise weaken resilience over time. I often remind my patients that health is not about controlling every outcome. It is about building a life that supports well-being even when uncertainty appears. When routine, calm, patience, and connection are present, challenges feel more manageable. This understanding allows seniors to remain engaged with life rather than withdrawing from it. It preserves independence while offering support. It honors the body's experience and the wisdom that comes with age. As you continue your health journey, remember that you are not doing this alone. Senior Health Daily is here as a steady place you can return to for calm guidance and reassurance. Staying connected allows learning to feel supportive rather than overwhelming, and it helps protect what matters most as we age with dignity and confidence. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to slow everything down with you for a moment. Learning about Nipah virus does not mean that danger is close or that something bad is waiting around the corner. It means you chose awareness rather than avoidance. You chose to understand instead of turning away. And that choice is an act of care for yourself and for those you love. After many years of walking alongside older adults, I have learned to deeply respect the resilience of the human body. Your body has carried you through seasons of challenge and recovery, through loss and renewal, through moments when you surprised yourself with strength. With age comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes a quieter confidence. The body may ask for more patience now, but it still knows how to protect and heal in its own steady way. Dignity matters at every stage of life. So does calm awareness. These are powerful forms of protection. Health is not about controlling every possible outcome or living in constant alert. It is about staying informed, staying connected, and responding with care when questions arise. When knowledge is held gently, it supports peace rather than disturbing it. I want you to remember that you do not need to carry health concerns alone. When news feels overwhelming, it helps to have a steady place to return to. Senior Health Daily is here for that reason. Not to rush you, not to pressure you, but to offer calm guidance and reassurance whenever you need it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Wherever you are on your health journey, you are not behind. You are learning, adapting, and honoring your body with patience and respect. I hope you will stay connected with Senior Health Daily and continue moving forward with quiet confidence, trust, and care.